And you'll need to unmute yourself, Beamy.
That helps. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Monday morning miracle call. Our favorite way to start off Monday by hearing miracles, remarkable stories from people that have been using the patches anywhere from a couple hours, couple days, weeks, months, years. There's so many continuous results with these amazing patches, this technology that David Schmidt, who is the CEO, founder, inventor, visionary of LifeWave, has brought forward. And today is really fun because we have quick testimonials anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. And as you know, we don't mention any disease names so that you can just talk about the symptoms. People will pretty much catch on to what that is. We want to stay compliant. And if you do want to share, please on the reaction at the bottom of your screen, hit raise hand, and then I can call on you very easily and everybody can see you when you're sharing. So I think that's all the guidelines I need to give. We can just jump right in and start hearing amazing stories. And just to make a disclaimer also that all these are anecdotal and nothing is meant to come across as curing or treating any kind of anything. So let's get going with Dashika. You can unmute.
You. So I wanted to share two stories. One was my mother. May of 2023, she couldn't remember how to open the back sliding door of her apartment, and I was very concerned about her living on her own. And a year later, using this wonderful technology, she was able to take the California driving written exam and driving exam and get her license back. And I have no concerns about her living on her own anymore. For myself, I played the flute last week. I have been using X39 since September 1st of 2022. And last week, a few days ago, since last Monday, my kids were playing a song that had a piano part and a violin part and a flute part. And then I decided to just pick up my flute and I was able to play it. Now, the last time I had actually played the flute was 1996. And in 2020, when I had wanted to play the flute, I realized that I couldn't remember any of the fingerings. I couldn't play the flute anymore. And I said, oh, well, I didn't need to play the flute anyway. I had piano and voice, whatever. But I can play the flute. Woohoo! So I just wanted to share that with you all.
Those are two incredible results that are very similar, that are showing how the X39 really helps the brain function better. And, I think we all can relate to memory issues. And who doesn't want to have a better memory? So thank you so much for sharing. That's very inspiring and will help a lot of people. Thank you so much.
And I just want to emphasize, it wasn't like the first week or the first day. It's like a year later, 2 years later. But, so what? Keep going.
Listen, the brain is very complicated, and those kind of conditions, there's a lot going on. So any improvement is just remarkable. So thank you for sharing. Okay, MJ.
Mijay, thank you so very much. Ina Mijay is my name.
Okay.
And I my amazing husband, and we had an event here in Costa Mesa the past weekend, and we had the opportunity, I had the opportunity to speak at this event for entrepreneurs. And the desk clerk she wasn't waiting on me, but I saw her from a distance. I was being waited by a gentleman. And I said, I'm going to go back and talk to her. My spirit was drawing me to her. And she was a young lady. And that evening, because that was during the day, that evening I finally went to her and I, befriended her and, hey, what's the pricing of this stuff in the candy store or the shop? And so I said, I didn't see any price. She says, oh, the pricing is up here. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, I introduced myself and I asked her, did she keep her options open? And she says, well, yes, I do. I said, oh, great. And she goes, why? What do you do? I said, well, let me ask you this. Do you suffer with any pain? Do you have any issues? Do you know anybody else that suffers? She goes, oh, stop right there. She says, I'm always in pain and my pain level is always at a 6. Someone had pulled my shoulder backwards, and she was a little full figured. And she said they pulled her shoulder backwards and her arm, and it popped her rotator cuff. And she had to have surgery 6 months ago. And she's been in extreme pain ever since. Her ankles are swollen. She's always standing. And she takes care of her mother and her grandmother, and her mother has cancer. Oh my goodness. I went in full form, right? Ah, honey, I had my little bag of goodies and I felt like I was Felix the cat. And I pulled out the X39 and I put it on the desk. And thank God there was nobody there. So I had her to myself for a moment. I asked her to put her hands on the desk. I asked her to take 3 deep breaths, deep through her nose and blow it all the way out till she can't blow any more air out of her lungs 3 times with her eyes closed. Concentrate on that pain. And I put my hand on her shoulder, said a little prayer in my mind, and then I put my hands on top of her hands. I said, count backwards with me from 10 to 1. And so we did. Before we got to 5, just holding the patch, wasn't even attached to her. Before we got to 5, she started crying. And when we got to 1, she opened her eyes and she was bawling. And she says, what is this? What is this? Oh my God, what is this? And so I said, what is the level of your pain? She says, my level of my pain has never moved. It's down to a 2. And so she bought an X39 on the spot. And, it was just a beautiful thing. So I was there for 5 days and she was just praising. So that's my testimony and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Wow, that is incredible to hear. You hit a couple things. Of course, you brought a miracle into her life with the X39. And, I want to just point out that one thing, you followed the energy, because a lot of us are drawn to, speaking to somebody out of the blue or wherever we are. And if you follow that energy, they're yearning in their heart. There are people out there that want this and they don't know what it is, but that signal goes out. And here we are, bring me the people. We want to help everybody. So it's really good to pay attention to those signals. So thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Thank you for allowing me.
Dan, you're next.
Good morning, folks. All the way from Helena, Montana. I want to share you a really quick story from my good buddy, Bob. He's really diligent in texting me about how he's doing with LifeWave patches. He says, I've been using the LifeWave patches for about 2 years, and I feel like I backed up 3 years in age instead of going forward 2 years. In other words, instead of feeling like I'm 77, I feel like I'm 72 and getting younger. At this rate, in 4 years, I'll be 66. And who knows, maybe that backup rate will increase. In any case, I'm feeling great and having a great time. Thanks a lot, Dan. How's that for having good, positive texts first thing in the morning?
I know. We love when people text us their results like that. It just makes your day brighter, right?
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, Robin.
It was family time this weekend, and we were headed to our son's graduation, and um, uh, our grandson had a strange sore in his mouth. So they said, we need to stop over. So they stopped over on the way to a long drive and patched up the 5-year-old. And then our 2-year-old was screaming at the zoo, like wildly screaming. And I just stuck an Eon patch on her, at the back of her, on her C7, and it instantly went quiet. It was really amazing. And our other son was having an infection, so we went over and gave him some glutathione. So it was like, family has not been that open, and now they're starting to be more open. And I got a call early this morning from my daughter-in-law. She wants to do a patch party. So things have changed. It's really fun, and it's wonderful to have these tools. I always carry patches with me. And our daughter-in-law was in severe pain, so we stopped at the house and patched her up. She had some acute abdominal pains and got some relief. So we're so grateful. We're so grateful.
I I love that. You're like the doctor with the little kit.
Yeah.
You know,
My little black bag is a little
yeah, it's
brown
like,
zippered credit card bag. Yeah, I know.
I
It's
know. You're on call. Well, but that's so important. I mean, that's really a strong point. You never know when somebody's going to need help. And
right.
who would guess? Your family. And look at what the universe opened up now.
Well, the fact that I got reached out to by, several of them is truly
Yeah.
a shift, and I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Yes. Yay. Okay, Susan.
Hello. So I'm the newbie here. I've been patching for 2 months and lots of things going on, especially with my hand. I was getting arthritic, just swollen joints and painful and trigger fingers, lots of things in my hands. And in just a short time, that went away. My upline, Norma, had me put patches on my hands at night. And then, oh, what was going on. The reason I did that was because I had pins and needles going on in my hands. It would wake me up at night because I probably overdid my physical therapy I was doing for my upper back in January. So that went away in 3 days. So right
And
away, I'm sleeping through the night.
how long had you had those conditions?
Several weeks, because it started in January when I was in physical therapy, and I started to patch it in end of February. So several weeks. And then I had an accident with my hands. It's a little embarrassing, but I was in a restaurant in the bathroom. I pulled my jeans down and my hand got caught on something on the side and rolled the skin up right there. And I immediately slapped it down. And anyway, long story short, I've been patching it and I've got a before and after. Here's my before and afters.
Wow.
Look at
How
that.
long?
Look at that. And this is 3 weeks. I can't see yeah, there it is. You can hardly see the scar, and it's still red. So I'm putting my Eon on it at night. But we're just, amazed. My husband sitting looking out the window the other day, and he said, I can see more clearly now. I think my floaters are going away, so lots of things going on. I'm sure you'll hear more. Oh, one more thing, just one more thing. I was at a play with my family the other night. My daughter introduced me to the director. Oh, this is my mom. And the director said, or sister. I haven't heard that in 10 years. I've not been told I look younger in 10 years. So it's really exciting.
That's amazing. That's one of the best things we like to hear. So that is a great before and after picture. Wound healing is so powerful with the X39. So thank you for sharing those results. And we know in a couple more months, you're going to have so much more. So we want to keep up with you. Okay, sun shower.
Morning, Beanie. So one of the things I want to do is agree with Robin. You should always have your little credit card thingy like so, and have all the different patches. I have them all labeled, and have something foil or something to protect so that if you have it near you, you don't activate them all with your own body heat. So that's that
Right.
part. So, you know, well, there's a lot of new people here. So just so you know, 2 years into it, something that I had not been able to do my whole life was smell, and now I can smell. This is powerful stuff that we have a hold of here. And the idea is to be patient. There's lots of one patch wonders, but not everybody's a one patch wonder. So just be patient. It's moving along. You just might not know it yet, but use your health tracker, you guys.
Absolutely. And that's a very good point because the body has all kinds of things going on, and the patches are intelligent, the X39, and goes exactly where your body needs it first. So David always says 1 month for every decade to get the deepest, fullest healing. So everybody be patient. Okay, Robin, again.
Again, I forgot this one. I wanted to wait till after a quarter after. So last night, I was blessed to talk to some dear old friends from another company. And last time I was on the phone with them, he had had one of those situations that left his whole body paralyzed, wasn't able to speak, function, move. And I saw him on Zoom last night. I had sent him the HAT protocol, and he's moving his right hand. He's speaking clearly. He can walk on his. He uses a cane or a walker, but he can get around and get in and out of things. And oh my God, they are so thrilled, so thrilled.
That's incredible. Thank you
Yeah,
for bringing
yeah.
that up. Awesome, awesome. Okay, Lowell.
It be me, Lavelle. It's Lavelle. Well,
Lavelle, sorry.
you just call me Love if your husband doesn't mind. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, sorry.
They've been calling me Love ever since I was a baby. But anyway, here we go. 5.5 years ago, my wife and I know Ms. J, we started using the products. And in the first 30 days, I had excruciating pain in my left knee because I used to run 8 miles a day when I was younger. Well, that pain went away 5 years ago and it's never come back. At a conference, I asked Dr. Ackland, how can I lower my blood sugar? Now that was just X39, but he said X39, X49, and SP6. My sugar was always around 200 or more, even up to 300. Guess what? In 2 weeks, my sugar with X39, X49, and SP6 went to 86. And it's been around 100 ever since. But yesterday I was at church and I was speaking with a brother, and he said, I asked him how old he is. We were just chit chatting, and he told me how old he was, and he asked me how old I was, and I said, "Well, I'm going on 67." He said, "Man, I hope I look as good as you." I'm going on 67. So, ladies and gentlemen, it does reverse age. My wife is going on 61, and they can't believe that as well. And it's been 5 years. So stick with it, guys, if you want to reverse age. Thanks so much, BB, for letting me share.
Thank you. Sorry about that. And you know, being a product of the product is so important. When you look more vibrant, more healthy, and you say your age, and people are, they think, oh, that's going downhill, and you're looking like, feeling 20 years or so younger. So that's what we are. We shine out the light. So we become the light. We be the light, like David says. Okay, Kate.
Good morning, everybody. I want to talk about something that's a tiny thing, but it has such a big impact on me for at least 20 years or more. I've had those little radiating lines coming off of my lip up here on the upper part, and they were so dry. And they would get lipstick stuck in there, and I couldn't even get it to wash out of there. I had a hard time with that because my skin was in really bad condition. So it made deep, deep, deep grooves. And I had not seen any improvement. All the other wrinkles went away real fast. And here these things are still here. 3 years later, they were still there until last week. And then I noticed, oh my goodness, something happened. The only thing I know that I did differently than my daily X39, X49, which I'm faithful in, is after I use my eye cream, I would take what was left and I would just kind of massage it, both fingers, and clean my fingers off. And I think that's what might have generated the change.
Wow. Well, us ladies especially like to know that.
I feel so differently about myself when I look in the mirror to put my lipstick on. It's like, oh, wow. It's just one of those. I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for David Schmidt and these patches.
It's a big thing for the ladies, so it's not such a little thing. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, who do we have next? Kate, oh no, Glenda. You want to unmute, Glenda?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to tell my feel-good stories because I was one of those people that really didn't have any complaints. So it's like, well, what are these patches going to do? And I've had so many results and they just keep going. But just to kind of review, it was about 5 weeks when I all of a sudden flew up a stadium of stairs and went, what has happened to me? Because that was just completely unusual. And it wasn't because I'd been working out. And ever since those 5 weeks, I've never had lactic acid. I can climb any stairs without really getting out of breath, without feeling it in my legs. It's just amazing. And so this weekend, I'm always just looking for little evidence. This weekend, we went with our kids to Glenwood Springs. There's a very long tunnel you go to on I-70. And it was always the thing when they were kids that we'd hold their breath. Well, I held my breath like twice as long as the 24-year-olds, probably 3 times as long. And I'm like, wow, I've never held my breath that long. So I'm a performance patch person now. And then we went swimming at the hot springs. And yesterday, like I treaded water with my hands in the air. So just using my legs for 15 minutes, and I could have kept going longer. And again, the 24-year-old said, I tried that yesterday to tread water with my hands in the air and I couldn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's really the performance bundle for me. And it's just exciting because it's not like I'm spending time in the gym. I'm just living life, and I'm living life more powerfully, more athletic, healthier. I just love it.
No, that's great because, having more energy and stamina, and I've noticed that too, like a 20% increase in my weights and reps and things like that from using both of those. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, been thinking about starting to work out and then see what really happens. This is just what happens without it.
I know. I know. The lung capacity. Well, the lungs are definitely affected because we've had a lot of results on certain conditions with that. So
absolutely
that's good to hear. Thank you. Okay, Miss Danielle.
How are you, Beamy? And hi to everybody. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
I just thought of something. So one thing real quick is my friend was she's a new brand partner, a hip surgery. And she put her energy patches on the bottom of her feet. And in the night, one patch actually migrated from the right foot to the left foot to join the other patch. And that was where she was having surgery. So that was hysterical. She got up, she's like, can you believe this? And I'm like, yeah, I actually can. But I wanted to share that my aunt, who is 85, has very thin skin. And when you get thin skin, you can see like it almost looks like blood underneath the hand. And my family's completely resistant. I think my one cousin doesn't have the patches anymore, but he's coming back. But his mom, I said, "Do you want me to patch that?" So we patched it with an X39. And after about 2 hours, I took it off just to see, and the circle under the patch had dissolved the blood. So it was really crazy. So she started to wear them on her hands, and her hands have gotten completely lighter from all those spots that are on there. So that was pretty exciting. So thanks for letting me share.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that story. Thank you. Because that does happen when you get older. So all these tips are good to know because we all have parents and different age people around us. So, okay, Laura.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to share something that I shared yesterday on Doc Talk because it's very exciting for me. It's two things, and I try to keep it brief. The first thing is a couple of years ago, I had an angiogram because they found calcification in my arteries, and they had to put stents. And I had another angiogram done in January, on January 3rd, and my cardiologist was expecting to have to put other stents, but when I woke up, he told me that he found absolutely no calcification. And I've been using X39 and X49. But at that point, I was using only X39. I started using X49 afterwards. The other thing is that I think last month I went to the hairdresser, and when she was done cutting my hair, she took the mirror to show me the back, and she said, "Laura, do you realize that your hair is getting darker in the back?" And I was surprised. I heard that this can be done, but I was surprised that it happened to me. And a few days ago, I sent a picture side by side of a picture of when I was 75, and I'm now approaching 78. And the hair is actually getting darker everywhere. And that's, that to me is proof that even though there may be area that I want to heal faster, but it's not happening yet, but it's the sign that the patches are working because the evidence is there. Yeah, so thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are great testimonials, and we always love to hear. Thank you. Okay, our last testimonial, MJ, again.
Thank you. Now, help me to pronounce your name correct. Is it Behemi?
Yes, Beamy.
Beamy. So it's Beamy. The H is silent. Woohoo. Okay. So once again, Ina Mijay, thank you for allowing me to share again. But the testimonies that triggered my mind, I just started a training. I just turned 60 in December. And I have not worked out, nothing, barely go walking. Well, I do walking all the time, but, not effortless. I mean, not effort, going out and walking a couple of miles or anything like that. But, and it's not that I'm, I'm pretty fit and I eat well, I eat clean, but I joined a training center, which is totally different than a gym, completely. And so I'm the oldest one up in there. And these teenagers, so I jumped right in. They were sprinting, and I jumped right in. Oh, I could do that. And it was just a 20-yard dash and back. And I was, gasping for air. I couldn't breathe. I had not a patch on me. Ding dong, anybody home? And I thought I could handle it. And my son was with me, my 17-year-old, and he had my patches. He had my bag. So he went in my bag and grabbed my patches. Mommy, come here. Let me patch you. He put the X39 on my C7. He put the Eon. Now, this is a boy who's been paying attention. He put the Eon on my chest, and below that, I put the X49 between my breasts. And I went back out there and sprinted with those teenagers. And I'm here to tell you, I was outrunning them. But girl, when I got done and that night, when I went home to lay down, my ankles were killing me. And so I patched my ankles, I patched my knees with the Eon and the X39, and it was incredible. I have not had any more issues, and I'm still training. This is my second week, and I'm excited about what I'm doing. These patches absolutely work, and my recovery time is cut tremendously. So thank you for allowing me to share again.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of good workout results for this
Yes.
call. So everybody, let's go to the gym. Let's get outside and walk and exercise. So thank you so much, Gregory. Did you have any last thing you wanted to say? Are we good? Okay. So
Unmute, Gregory. We couldn't hear you, Gregory.
Go. I had my thing, and I just want to thank you, Beamy, and beam me up, Beamy. Yeah, and we're going to have our Monday evening community call, as always, every Monday evening at 7 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock LifeWave time, because we're in the same time zone. So adjust that for wherever you are. It's about a 30-minute call. We usually have some guests and some information. There's a new customer special, so be looking at your inbox for the information about the new customer special. We'll just be discussing that. And also, I want to remind everybody, our monthly Live Younger VIP fly-in is because of corporate schedules, we had to narrow it down to one day. It's going to be Tuesday, May 13th. We're going to be in there at 10 a.m. and again at 1 p.m. for VIP tours of the Welcome Center. And if you have anybody you'd like to get over there, just go and register through your upline director. The directors have access to a secret code where they can register you, and we have limited seating. And so if you have anybody in the vicinity, or, typically we have a few people that fly in. Well, last time we had a gentleman flew in from Sarasota, Florida, and he went home pretty much on his own power. He was so fired up. So, Lavelle, you got your hand up again. Do you want to share something at the end here?
Sure, Gregory. This evening, are you going to go over the new email that we got yesterday about the 5% if you do 30% more in your, or did you get that email?
I did. And, yeah, we could go over that. That's a good idea.
That would be great. Okay, my brother. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yep. Okay. Robin, did you have anything you wanted to chime in on about tonight, or are we good to go? She said good to go from the other room. I heard it. You didn't, because she's muted.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone can unmute and have a wonderful day. What a great way to start a day in a week. Thank you, Beamy. Great job.
Woohoo! Great job, Beamy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Beautiful, everyone. Your stars.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Shalom.
Have a
Wonderful
wonderful
call.
day, everyone.
Have a wonderful rest
you.
of your week. Blessings.
Day.
Bye.
Bye.
God bless everybody.
Look at the dog.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Shalom.
Great job.
Keep patching it where it pays off.
It does. It does. It does.
Happy healing.
Shalom. Shalom.
Mm.